Hey YouTube, so today I'm going to be showing you how to create a VPN using DD-WRT. So the first step is to install DD-WRT on your router. So you want to go over to dd-wrt.com and you want to find the router database. And once you find the router database, you want to go to supported device list and scroll down until you find the router you're trying to install DD-WRT on. In my case, it is, I believe, the Netgear WNDR 3400, the first version. The second version, if you're using this router, is not supported. You want to go over to the initial flash page and read the installation instructions. Make sure if it has any further instructions to actually click on them and read them. They are helpful. You want to go ahead and get the mini version of your firmware by clicking somewhere around here, wherever yours is. It's different for all the routers. And then once you get the mini version, go ahead and download the big version or the mega version if you prefer. I use the big version. Go ahead and get DD-WRT installed on your router. You want to head over to your default IP address of your router. Of course, to get here, you must plug in your router to the back of your computer or wherever your LAN port is. So go ahead and make a router username and password. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to make mine VPN and then put in a password. And once you're in, you want to go ahead and go to administration. And it will prompt you to log in again. Just go ahead and log in again. So you don't want to change anything in the router settings, but you want to go ahead and go to firmware upgrade if you have not already. Head and upgrade your firmware to the big or mega version of the firmware. From here, you want to go ahead and update your DD-WRT router to the big or mega file that you chose. And I've already done this, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to the next step, which is back and go to backup and save it as whatever you'd like. There we go. So if you mess up somewhere along the way, then you can go ahead and just restore it back to the normal settings, because once you input information, it's hard to go back and change, so it's easier just to start over. So this next step is going to be how to bridge two routers. What I mean by this is you have a separate router for your DD-WRT VPN, and then you have your main router. If you're going to do this on your main router, I suggest skipping ahead because this step will be boring to you. So, to set up the wireless bridge, we are going to go to Setup first. Once here, you will now start configuring the bridged router. You're going to go to the WAN connection type and change this to disabled. You don't want it on the WAN. You can select a router name. I'm going to leave it as DD-WRT. For the local IP address, this is important. You need to change it to the next one after your normal router. So in my case, my primary router is 192.168.1.1, so I'm going to make this one 1.2. You also need to check assign WAN port to switch, disable the DHP server, and the time settings you can change, but they don't matter. So here you want to make sure you hit save and don't apply the settings yet. Once saved, go to security and disable the SPI firewall, as you will not need it. Once again, save and not apply settings. Next, you want to go to wireless and wireless security. You want to go ahead and pick the type of security your other router has, and you want to make sure you put in the password for your other router, and make sure the if you're using WPA2 personal, make sure the algorithms are the right ones. I had problems with this before because I forgot to change it to AES. Once there, save again and go to basic settings. For the wireless mode, you want it to be on client bridge. The wireless network mode can stay as mixed, but you want to change the wireless network name or the SSID to the same as your other router. So in this case, it is Stevens. The wireless channel, you might have to check on your other router. Mine is 9, but everyone's is different. You want to disable the wireless SSID broadcast and hit save. Once done with this, you want to go to WL0 Advanced, or it might just say Advanced Settings. All you do here is check off Shared Key, and once again, save. Lastly, you want to go over to Status and go to Wireless. You can check all your wireless settings. The channel is going to say 6, most likely. Don't worry, it will change once you go do the next step. So the next step, site survey. So you see a bunch of internet connections depending on if you have neighbors or not. So you're going to pick your primary router connection and join it. Follow the prompt until you get back to the wireless basic settings. Here you will save and apply settings. Now since you changed your IP address in the basic or in the other setup, you'll now have to go to the search bar and search the other IP address. This will bring up the firmware once again, as you will not be able to access it on the other IP address. So as you can see here, it says access point, and this is the other router. So now we're going to go over to status. You want to log in again. Go to wireless and make sure that the wireless node access point is running properly. So from here, as you can see, if you hadn't before, this is no longer limited. This is directly connected and it is transmitting Wi-Fi to, or not Wi-Fi, but an internet connection to my computer that it is plugged into. Or this will not transmit a wireless signal for other devices. Alright, this is the step where you will actually be able to create the VPN. This is actually much simpler than you would think. You go to Services, go to VPN. In this case, we are going to do a PPTP server, which is port-to-port tunneling protocol. However, it is not as secure as OpenVPN, but OpenVPN is, in my opinion, more difficult to set up. So we're going to set up a PPTP server. You're going to enable all 3 of these options, leave everything until server IP blank. Then you want to input the next available IP. So I'm going to do 192.168.2.1. And then for the client IPs, you want make sure none of the IP addresses conflict with other devices on your network. So that doesn't happen, I'm going to do 92.168.200.225. This gives you 25 client IPs that will be available to use. So next you want to go to the chat secrets. This is your login information for your VPN. So in this case, I'm going to do, then after that, this is your username, and you want to do a space, an asterisk, another space, and the password. Space, asterisk. Once you've done this, you want to save, apply settings, and there you go. And you need to go to your other router settings, your primary router, if you're using a bridge router. If you're not, then stay on the same router you are. So you want to go ahead and log in to your other router. and we need to go down to port forwarding. So we need to go to, I think, no. In my case, it'll be on security, apps and gaming, single port forwarding, and you want to add a new single port. So you can title it whatever you'd like. The port for VPN or for the VPN services is 1723. And you want to go ahead and make this a TCP protocol. Device IP 2.1. Apply. Oh, excuse me. So once you have this ready, you want to apply settings, then go to your network and sharing options. From here, you want to go to set up a new connection, connect to a workplace, use my internet connection, and enter the address that you have. This creates your VPN connection. You can connect. It'll ask you for your credentials. You sign in and you'll be connected to your VPN. I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching.